Morgan Thomas Show. Brought to you by Black's Tire Inc.
Welcome in to the Morgan Thomas Show. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Thomas. We are live here. I'm in Greenville. Alan is over in Anderson, and Houston is in Taylor. So we're all up in the upstate of South Carolina, and we are glad to have you with us tonight. Another big Clemson win this weekend over the number 7 ranked Miami Hurricanes, one that we all predicted and one that we were excited to see play out and see how the Tigers just utterly dominated on defense and really on offense as well. So great job to Dabo Swinney and the crew for another win for the Tigers. But thank you so much for joining. We are currently streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and you can check us out on Twitter. And we also have a website, southlandclub.com. Go check it out. We blog over there every now and then. But thank you so much for joining in if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're watching, or if you're catching the show after the fact on our podcast. We really appreciate the love and support. Getting so much closer. Inching so much closer to 1,000 subscribers over on YouTube. And we actually, I believe, passed or are close to 2,400 followers over on Facebook. So thank you so much for the love and support there. As always, you see a little bit of difference there. We've got a rotating banner tonight of our sponsors. So you can check out our sponsors all throughout the show. And but I wanted to tell you about our primary show sponsor, and that's one that's been with us since day one. Before we get started, and then we'll give you a shout out for everybody who's there. So make sure you get into the chat right now so we can give you a name shout out before the show gets started. But let me tell you about Black's Tire Inc. Black's Tire Inc., family owned and operated since 1971. If you need new tires, brakes, alignments, tire repair, or just looking for a friendly professional to help answer your questions, check out Black's Tire Inc., located 1415 East Main Street, Westminster, South Carolina, or give them a call as you see on the screen, 864-647-9292, or you can go to their website, blackstireinc.net. Again, thank you so much, Preston and Dale Black, for supporting us. Family owned and operated. Like I said, grandfathers, fathers, and now son running it. And, we really, really appreciate their love and support. And yours as well. So if you're over on Facebook or YouTube, put your name in there. Tell us where you're from. Tell us how long you've been a Clemson fan. Alan, what's going over on Facebook before we get started? Well, actually, I didn't even introduce you guys. I didn't even introduce you guys yet. Alan, Houston, joining me. Actually, I did. I said where you're from, but welcome to the show. I need to let you guys say hello.
Hey, it's good to be here as always, man. It's really great to be here after a win like that. It's always easier to be on the show. Lots of good stuff to talk about tonight.
And Houston as well at the bottom. If you don't already notice, Houston's got some new threads on. So Houston, just tell them what you're wearing tonight.
Finally got to go to Tiger Sports Shop. They got to hook me up with some threads finally, so you can stop asking. I'm finally officially a part of the team now. New uniforms, looking fresh, feeling fresh. Hoping to get the Braves a win. So if you see me glance up, that's what I'm watching. But I also got the Atlanta Braves hat with the tiger paw on it for the game tonight. So we're ready to rock and roll.
And, we really appreciate everyone joining in. We're competing with a lot going on. Obviously, the Atlanta Braves. I have my little tumbler, my Atlanta Braves tumbler, and have an Atlanta Braves debit card as well. But I'm not going to show you guys that because I don't trust you. I might have to cover the number up. But we'll definitely have to cover the number up for you guys. But thank you again so much. Al, check out on Facebook. Tell me who got in the chat. Who wants a shout out tonight?
All right, so we've got some of our regulars here. Kevron Harris is with us, of course. Jimmy Stamey's here. Let's see. Even the Morgan Thomas Show is watching. Well, that's good to know. Billy Sigmund with us, as always. Gene Cranford is with us. George Patterson is here. Four Paul's Wild Bill Landon is here. We got to see him today at lunch. It was great, as always. See that Mom is watching, so I love you, Mom. And my wife is watching as well, and she shouldn't be watching because she should be driving home right now. But we're going to tell you that I love you anyways. I appreciate the support. Al Kuhn. Again, Al Kuhn is killing it, okay? He is continuing to get in on time. I don't know if his watch broke or what it is, but I'm going to take it. I like that he's here. I like that he's in the chat. And Mark Palmer has joined us as well. So we got a good crowd over here on Facebook already.
Yeah, thank you so much. And over on YouTube, we've got Bo, James, Brent, Clemson, Carson, John, Eric, and let me see if I'm missing anybody. I don't think I'm missing anybody. Randy giggled. That's pretty much everybody over on YouTube as well. So thank you so much. Got a ton of people watching and checking us out. Like I said, if you miss anything tonight, you can always check out our Facebook or YouTube page and jump in with us afterwards and watch our replays. But thank you so much again. Let's get started and let's run it down. So segment number 1, to kind of tell you a little bit about what we do, we talk about our previous week's results. Not only do we talk about our previous week's results, but we also talk about our the players that were sexiest players of the week. Alan's going to give you some of that, and then Houston's going to do some of the biggest disasters of the week. With Houston, we have a problem. But let's start with some of the ones we landed for the week, and that is some of the money winners. And again, you know I love my soundboard, so apologies in advance. But week 5, Morgan, I went 6-6. Allen went 6-6, and Houston went 5-7. Sorry, Houston, for that. Apologize, really do. Overall, I'm 26-24. Allen's 25-25, and Houston is 22-28. I already see people in the chat talking about their what they did over the weekend. Hopefully, we were able to help you out. Our hammer home hits of the week were Oklahoma actually outlasting Texas, Georgia turning it on against Tennessee later on in the game. And Allen, they actually did that while we were on our Philadelphia Clemson Club call.
Yep.
And then Arkansas being robbed of a win. I feel like we got to say this a little bit. He fumbled the snap, turned around backwards, and spiked the ball for a backwards pass. It should have been a fumble. It should have been Arkansas's ball. It should have been game over, but it wasn't. They went back, actually knowing that the call was wrong, kept it on the field anyways and didn't overturn it, and because it was blown dead, as they said, even though Arkansas still landed on the ball. Kind of a heartbreaker there, but still not a heartbreaker for us because of the spread. NC State beating UVA by 17. I don't think that's something that I thought they would do, but NC State's big-time winner for me. Keep riding them. That's what I say. And give you a little hint into where I'm going later on in the show. Boston College beating Pittsburgh in overtime by 1 point. Man, BC's got them a quarterback, and they've got a wide receiver as well. So be on the lookout for them. There's a game coming up this week that's going to be interesting as well with them. And then Clemson hammering home against Miami, putting it down and actually winning against the spread for the first time this year. So congratulations to the Tigers for just taking it to the Hurricanes, because Miami's kind of like the Georgia Tech fan that just stays around all year and even in the offseason. You know, Georgia Tech fans, you don't ever see them until it's game week. And then all of a sudden, they're the most annoying fans in the country. And then after game week, they disappear. Well, Miami just happens to be the most annoying fan base, well, in the ACC, we'll probably say, because we know that there's obviously a more annoying fan base in the SEC, and even the whole entire SEC hates that fan base. But going back to Miami, again, a fan base that feels like every year they're always going to be back. You can't tell them anything. They're going to take it to Clemson. Clemson needs to be careful. And if you go back and look at Louisville, wasn't a good win for them. You go back and look at Florida State, definitely not a good win for them. You go to look at Clemson, 75 yards at halftime. Congratulations, De'Aaron King. You did great. Lone Wolf winner, and that is Big Al. He got a Lone Wolf winner last week, picking UNC over Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech, you know what? You really don't know what you're going to get with Virginia Tech. You don't know if they're going to have 20 players out. You don't know if they're going to have 19 players out. It's hard to say. But Allen got the big win with UNC there. Houston and I didn't pick them. Majority losers, and that's the ones. Tell you what, that's one of those. These are one of the ones where we got to be honest with our fan base, because there's some Clemson live shows that are not honest with their fan base, and I won't talk about those shows that have 25,000 views that are fake. But I will say that we are honest with our fan base, and we don't cheat our sponsors here. But Florida losing to Texas A&M, that's a big one. I did not see that one coming. Alabama boat racing with Ole Miss there, did not see that one coming either. Nick Saban's pretty upset right now, fellas. So, I'm thinking they're going to get the defense straight. or else. Let's just put it that way. Louisville being up by 1 point with, I think Al told me, 4 minutes to go in the game and gave up 20 points in like 4 minutes. They were up by, so they lost by 19 or something like that. It was crazy. I just don't understand how you give up that many points in that short amount of time. But if anybody can do it, it's Louisville. Yet another game where Louisville had more total yards, more first downs, longer time of possession. This time they actually had the same amount of turnovers, I believe. Or maybe they still had more turnovers than the other team. But the turnovers are a huge problem. This time wasn't any interceptions. It was 3 fumbles from the Cardinals. Man, they are just in the toilet this year. A team that we expected to be one of the best teams in the ACC is just lost, completely lost. I would not. I got to stay with them. Stay away from them if you're using real money here. We're using monopoly money on this show, but stay away from those guys. Syracuse giving Chase Bryce his first win, a team that I thought, hey, home underdog. Not so. They burned me. And then Notre Dame kind of taking the foot off the gas and not beating Florida State by 21. How disappointed are you in Notre Dame? Why? How dare you score 20-something the first and second quarter and then score almost nothing in the third and fourth quarter? We know you took your foot off the gas. How dare you, Notre Dame? How dare you? You're dead to me. You're dead to me. That's like one of 21 teams right now that it's dead to us right now on the Morgan Thomas Show, if you're keeping track. But so those are our hammer home hits. Those are our lone wolf winners, and those are our majority losers. Hopefully, you ended up being a majority winner, or at least broke even this weekend. Let us know in the comments what you think over on chat, on Facebook and YouTube. We really appreciate the excitement around the picks against the spread. We love doing it. It's really fun. It adds a little bit of extra to it. But let's move on over to Big Al's segment. Al, we actually get dinged for a copyright violation for using this saxophone. So sorry about whoever owns the copyright to this saxophone, but we're still going to keep using it. We're just not going to make any money off the ads, which we don't make any money off ads anyways, like 3 cents. So we're just going to make not less than 3 cents now. But I got to play the saxophone when Al gets on the line. So Al, tell us about your sexy players of the weekend.
All right, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But first of all, I'm going to have to defend our honor over here in the chat, okay? You get Wild Bill getting kind of frisky over in the chats, saying he's not going to become a betting guru based upon our records, okay? So let me defend our honor real quick here, okay? First of all, last season, okay, we went I went like 65 or 70% against the spread, which is insane. Okay, that is really good. Now, here's the deal. We don't pick and choose the games that we feel really, really good about to bet on. We are locked in every week to pick every ACC game, which is impossible. If you watch the ACC ever, you know it's impossible to pick. And we pick another top 5 games. It should be close, okay? So it doesn't mean we feel comfortable about the spread, but we are locked in and obligated to pick the spread regardless. So it would be a more fair representation of our ability if we just picked and chose a few games a week, okay? And gave you our thoughts. All right, maybe our record will be a little bit better. So, Bill, you know better than that. Shame on you for getting on us in the chat, first and foremost. But yeah, so as far as sexy performance, okay, this was a better week. Last week, it was not so great. I told you I didn't really have a lot of great stuff. But this was much better. So, first, went with Najee Harris, running back from Alabama. He had 206 yards, 5 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen. 5 touchdowns. He also added 3 receptions, 42 yards. So a great performance by Najee Harris. Second, I went with Sam Ehlinger. And we were both, I think all 3 of us were watching Oklahoma, Texas. And what a crazy game that was. It was absolutely insane. Ehlinger had 287 passing yards, which is not all that impressive with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But he added 112 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. Okay? It was a very gutsy performance by Ehlinger. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for Morgan and I, Oklahoma was able to cover the spread because of that, so that was good. And then next I have Jalen Darden, wide receiver for North Texas, 13 receptions, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns, which is phenomenal. And we almost have an identical stat line next with Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU, wide receiver, 11 receptions, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. those are two wide receivers that are alpha receivers. It's the guy you've been trying to find for Clemson, the guy I've been talking about all year that I want to step up. So, last but not least, I gave a shout out to Travis Etienne. Okay, running
Woohoo!
back for Clemson Tigers, ladies and gentlemen. 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions for 73 yards, doing work as he always does. Heisman front runner and should be Heisman finalist, hopefully Heisman winner, as I predicted before the year. So I'm looking forward to Travis Etienne getting his run on the rest of the year.
Man, he had a monster game. And you know, UNC had monster games as well. I mean, I think the ACC network came out and said that the running back of the week was Michael Carter. Come on. I mean, Travis Etienne, what more can you do to be the running back of the week? By the way, chat said that Al's mic was a little funky. I fixed that. I figured out what it was. Yeah, Al, you weren't really that loud, but you know, I'll get it fixed. If you missed any of that, we'll get it on the replay. But
yeah, because it was gold.
It was always great. And then we've got Houston. We have a problem. I need to get a better button for this, like something that's like, you know, really, really upsetting or something, you know, like an air horn or like a tornado warning. Tornado warning, maybe that would work. I don't know. But Houston, we have a problem. So going to tell us a little bit about some of the games of the weekend or some of the teams over the weekend that just had a horrible performance.
Well, I've got 4 for you. And we'll start on the offensive side of the ball. 2 quarterbacks who were proverbially in the Heisman running 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when your season started. Everybody was fawning over them. Number 1 would have been Mr. KJ Costello. All right. 2 weeks ago, everybody was saying this guy was going to be Heisman frontrunner number 1. You know how many interceptions he threw the other night? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 interceptions. You know how many touchdowns he threw the other night? 0. Nada. Zilch. 0. None. The only points Mississippi State got was on a safety. They lost 24-2. KJ Costello he threw 1 pick six. He almost threw 2. I mean, he could be on pace to set the record for pick sixes in a year. His Heisman campaign has gone up in flames. The other quarterback whose Heisman campaign has gone up, just gone, I think we can all agree that Mr. De'Aaron King, for all the hype that he was getting, and look, I'll say this, he didn't play bad. You know, threw for 121. He was their leading rusher on the team, broke off a couple runs for 84 yards, but he was the only offense. And from the first play, when Balin Spector popped him in the mouth, you knew it was on, and he had not seen anything like that before. The game was moving at a completely different pace. They didn't know what hit him. It was just bad. So the next one up after that, we have to talk a little bit about the Alabama Ole Miss game. Probably the 2 worst defensive performances I've ever seen. And I'm pulling up their stats right now. I know that Ole Miss, you know, despite hanging in there, and I'll give credit to Ole Miss where credit is due. Ole Miss hung up a ton of yards on offense on Alabama's vaunted, quote unquote, defense. However, they gave up a grand total of 723 yards. So, and look, they gained 647 yards on Alabama's defense. That's a Big 12 game. That is a Big 12 game. Both of those defenses are going to get chewed out, one more than the other. I feel like Nick Saban is going to – I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a part of that defense this week. But both of those teams, horrible defensive performances. Offense is great. Defense is terrible. And then lastly, you thought I'd forget. You thought I'd forget about LSU. You did, didn't you? I might, you know what? I have to retract a statement that I told you at the beginning of the season when I said enjoy being in the Music City Bowl. No, you're going to be enjoying it sitting on the couch this year. Yeah. That's how bad LSU is this year. They are going to struggle. That defense is pathetic. You let Connor, what is it, Blizak? I can't pronounce the guy's name. Either way, he just tuned you up for 406 yards passing. Are you kidding me? Tennessee eviscerated this guy, and you can't even hold it. And on top of that, you drive down the field, get on the 1 yard line, and cannot punch it in on Missouri's defense, a team that you had gone for 479 total yards, but you couldn't run the ball because you only ran for 49 yards. 49 yards of rushing offense for LSU. Worst performance. Enjoy your Christmas this year, LSU fans, because Ed Orgeron is the new Gene Chizik. Enjoy everything about your one-hit wonder.
Ouch, ouch. Definitely a one-hit wonder down there in Baton Rouge there. Unfortunately for the imposter Tigers, fortunately enough, couldn't happen to a nicer crowd. Let's just say it that way. But again, you're talking about Miami and Clemson. We're going to get more into that. Another thing about Alabama Ole Miss, John gets in on chat and says there was a first down every 2.3 snaps in that game. I mean, wow. Just how bad was your defense in that case? Now, Nick Saban claimed, well, I don't know. I can't say if I know Nick Saban claimed this, but some people are saying on the Alabama side that, it's because Lane Kiffin knew the playbook. Well, let's just be honest. If that's the case, then Lane Kiffin could make millions off of his information. So, Lane, just let me know how much money we need to funnel you, because we may need to get you some. No, I'm just kidding. Clemson could, I think, handle Alabama, and I think it would be a great matchup for sure. But a lot of people are already saying it's not going to be Clemson, Alabama. It's going to be Clemson more, Georgia. We'll see. We'll see, because we'll actually probably find out this weekend, because it's going to be Clemson or Alabama and Georgia playing this weekend. This time, Georgia doesn't have the benefit of playing at home, and we'll have to see what the Bulldogs can do away from Athens. But thank you so much for getting in on chat. We got 25 over here on on YouTube, and we got, I think 18 over on Facebook. If you aren't already following us on one or the other, make sure you do. So go to Facebook, log in. If you never do, I'd really appreciate it anyways. Go in, follow us, like the show. You can check out some of the posts that we have that aren't just videos. Go on YouTube if you want to check out all of our video content, and make sure you like the video and subscribe with us. We really appreciate it. We come out every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with a live video, and we're trying to create some more videos throughout the week now that I have a little bit more free time on my hands. Don't tell my boss that. But, we're going to try to create some videos. And obviously on Twitter as well, at The Morgan T Show. Go check us out there as well. We really appreciate it. And then our website. Man, we got so many places that you can hang out with us. Southlandclub.com. We're still building it out, but we'd appreciate it if you go check us out there too as well. Thank you again so much. But let me tell you about some of our sponsors as well real quick. We got Charleston Sports Pub of Clemson. We really appreciate them joining us again this year. And as you can see, Tiger legends go to the Charleston Sports Pub of Clemson. So make sure you eat there. 359 College Avenue, downtown Clemson. And go check out some of the food. Al, what's your favorite meal over at the Charleston Sports Pub, my friend?
Favorite meal? Well, I have said this on numerous occasions, actually, but unfortunately, you can only get it on Saturday or Sunday because it is on the brunch menu. It is called the Legend, and it is aptly named, we will say. Okay, pancake, chicken fingers, their homemade gravy, another pancake, eggs over easy, and bacon.
Not a pancake.
With a side of syrup. Amazing.
Not a
Absolutely
pancake.
Outstanding.
He said a pancake. Not a pancake. Not possible.
Pancake. 2 of them.
Wow. 2? Wow. 2 pancakes. Go check them out. Charleston Sports Pub, 359 College Avenue in Clemson, downtown Clemson. And then also check out, also downtown, let me get it up, the Tiger Sports Shop. We don't just dress for success, we TS for success. That's tigersports.com. Go check out Sean and Julie there and all of their Clemson Tiger gear. We actually, let me pull our live feeds up here real quick. We actually are all wearing Tiger Sports Shop gear tonight for the first time ever. Thank you so much. I know fans were really worried about Houston not getting the hookup. Now Houston has the hookup. Just cost him $65.99, but he now officially has the hookup. You got me with a Tiger Sports Shop exclusive golf polo. I really enjoy it. It's orange. It's brand new with a little purple stripe across the top. Alan actually has this shirt, but not going to wear it because I'm going to wear it tonight. Al, you're actually wearing a shirt that I have as well, but tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we traded shirts a little bit. This is a lavender, a very manly lavender. Okay, Tiger Sports Shop brand polo. An incredible shirt. I absolutely love it. It's very soft, very stretchy. It's just super comfortable. It's Tiger Sports Shop brand. Like we always talk about, they have the biggest, the baddest selection. You want to check out the Tiger Sports Shop brand though. They have the Antiguas, they have the Cutter and Bucks, the Tommy Bahamas, the Southern Tides. They have it all. But Tiger Sports Shop brand is why you should go. It is the same quality apparel, more affordable price. Okay, talk to Sean or Julie, tell them Alan and Morgan and Houston sent you. But yeah, it is great stuff as always. Look, we got the same shirts. Me and Morgan now have the same shirts, and that's okay. You can tell us which one looks better in them. I have my thoughts, but whatever. But we're very
and Trevor
thankful for
Lawrence's
their support.
dad has that shirt as well. Remember, we saw him in the playoffs wearing that. So
Let's not add him into the conversation. Okay, we don't want to knock ourselves down a rung.
it's quite popular shirt. Let's just say that. Houston, tell us about your threads.
Yes, I have the Clemson Tiger Sports brand. All right, it's a nice little formal shirt. Now I'm gonna just wear this for the show. This is really nice. This is like nicer than most of my wardrobe. So I'm a little bit of afraid to wear this out anywhere. I don't want to get like a mustard stain on this or anything because I could be like a sloppy guy with a beard, and I don't want that to happen. So this is gonna be almost like in a glass case. It's a great shirt. I highly recommend going to take a look at the selection. Sean really hooked us up the other day, and it was an awesome time. Being able to go over there and check everything out. Great selection, like Alan said. So go check them out.
And John in chat says he likes his shirts to be stretchy as he gets older. And let me tell you something. This shirt is definitely stretchy and comfortable, and I really love it. I could go run 4 miles right now in this bad boy and not feel a thing about it. So, that's how breathable and stretchy and comfortable it is. So go check them out at tigersportshop.com, tigersports.com, or 2 locations in downtown Clemson. Go check them out as well. All right, so let's get over to segment number 2, or topic number 2, and that is Miami versus Clemson results. We really want to talk about this. I know you guys are really interested, so we're going to go back to back. Miami, let me tell you the rundown here. Miami versus Clemson results. I have it up on the list here. Clemson traveling to Georgia Tech this weekend. We're going to talk about that game, and then we're going to do our final segment, which is picks against the spread for the ACC and top 5 games of the week, picks against the spread as well. So that's kind of the rundown. All Clemson things coming up, and then picks against the spread to wrap it all up. But let's start with Clemson. Miami traveling to Clemson. So offensive and defensive players of the game. Get in the chat right now. Let us know what your offensive and defensive players of the game were. I think I have to go with Travis Etienne, 17 carries, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 catches, 73 yards. By the way, a 72-yard run for touchdown that everybody thought he stepped out of bounds because of the way the camera angle was. But, oh, no, he was definitely in bounds and just blew by everyone in his Heisman candidate stride. Just love to see that and want to see it every single game. Oh, by the way, he's now the 3rd all-time leading rusher in the ACC. And before this season is over with, barring any issues, he is going to be the leading ACC rusher in history all time. So good job, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, look, I mean, this pick could have gone one of 3 ways, in my opinion. It could go to Trevor Lawrence. It could go to Travis Etienne. It could go to Braden Galloway. I think those are kind of your 3 choices for offensive player of the game. I gave the edge in this game to Lawrence, and simply because of the way he played when it was obvious the defense was out to get him. I mean, he got 2 targeting penalties called against him. It easily could have been like 4 or 5. Okay, they were hitting him hard. They were hitting him often, and some of the shots were a little dirtier than we would like. No doubt about it. Leading with the crown of the helmet, hitting him in the helmet, that kind of thing. I just love the fire I saw from Trevor Lawrence. It's something you don't see very often. You don't see him get that heated. You don't see him doing any trash talking, but you saw a little bit of it the other night, and it was awesome to see as he stomped all over him to the victory.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Al on this to a point. I think Trevor. I loved the spike. I loved what he did when he scored that touchdown. I think Braden Galloway played well. I think one person, and I think Casey the Beef Cregan got in on the chat line saying that Davis Allen. If you look at that ETN run, that 72-yarder, Davis Allen obliterated their linebacker. It was beautiful. It was like watching poetry in motion. It was great. But I will have to say, Travis Etienne ultimately does get my offensive player of the game. He looked like a Heisman contender. And to me, when you're 172 yards away from being the ACC rushing leader all time, and no one's talking about that, I think it's underappreciated, underrespected, and he's starting to creep into the range where I think he's more deserving of the Heisman. I'm not knocking Trevor. He's doing great. If Trevor wins it, absolutely deserved. But Travis Etienne, man, he's starting to win me over. He's starting to win me over as far as a Heisman winner.
I got to argue with you on that one. I mean, I think that if you're going to finish your year as the all-time leading rusher in the ACC, you got to give me that. I mean, you got to give me that as the Heisman Trophy candidate winner for sure. So, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't pick Travis Etienne, but that's where I'm going. What's up next is the Defensive Player of the Year. I got Balen Spector, 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, all over the place. Dabo Swinney said he's like a clone of James Skalski, and he really was. And one of the posts that we put up on our Facebook page tonight showed that read option that was very early on in the game, where within a split second he moved from the running back to the quarterback and tackled the quarterback straight up and just destroyed him and really set the tone for Clemson and Miami. And, I just really, like I said, I am the most surprised. I think he would be even the surprise Defensive Player of the Year, because I wasn't expecting to be saying his name as much as I am. I think a couple of games ago, or maybe even the last game, he had 15 total tackles. This guy is all over the place, becoming the new star on the defense, and it's great for the Tigers. Great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Balen Spector had a heck of a game. Morgan and I did a show for the Philly Clemson Club right before the game. It was kind of a pregame type deal. And, I mentioned what Venables might do that night when he's playing nickel coverage. I assumed he would be a 3-3-5 or maybe even a 4-2-5, might take a linebacker off the field. And I told him, I said, hey, if he goes 4-2-5, Balen Spector simply could be the odd man out in that kind of situation with Mike Jones and Skalski on the field. Thank God that wasn't the case. Brent Venables kept 3 linebackers all night, and Balen Spector showed out. It was an awesome game for him. Now, having said that, I think Casey Cregan, and we're giving a lot of love to Casey tonight on the chat line, is all over it. And I'm taking Tyler Davis for player of the game as well on defense. I love the way he clogs the middle. He takes on double teams. It does not matter. He still gets pressure. He's not showing up on the stat sheet because he basically can't. But the way he affects the game for Clemson is unprecedented. Okay, this is a great thing to see. We saw it when he went out at Wake, that we weren't able to get the pressure that we were getting when he went out. We didn't get any pressure against Virginia. He is back, and now we get pressure just like we have been doing, and starting to see this defensive line look like it has been the past few years. So I'm going with Tyler Davis.
All impressive answers. It's very, very impressive. It makes me proud to see it, but I feel like I'm going to have to say the entire Clemson secondary gets it this week. Landon Sanders, he had an improved game. I wouldn't say that he was perfect, but I like the way that Brent Venables used him, almost like a nickel. I saw him blitzing a ton off the edge. So using him as a pass rusher, he seemed to cause a lot of havoc in the backfield, played a decent game. Nolan Turner played great. But the thing that really jumped out to me was our corners are really deep and really good. And it is scary how good both Andrew Booth and Darion Kendrick are. They look impressive. This could be the greatest cornerback tandem we've ever seen at Clemson. And it's just both of them had impressive games. And then on top of that, Sheridan Jones shut out too. Got a critical pick in the end zone. You also had a great game by I think Mario Goodrich had a player too that he could have done better, but still had a great game. Sure. So I think our secondary, I think Clemson's secondary played impressive, and they deserve player of the game.
I got to go with the Clemson secondary too. I mean, you got to give them a shout out. I mean, we're already seeing in the chat about DK. What an interception. I mean, he's a wide receiver, and we knew it. We knew he was good. Yeah. But wow. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, wow, what great timing, great hands, great baiting. Now, I'll be honest with you. If he would have put some air over that tight end would have been, was like 5 yards behind him. That's only a little bit of a scare. But, DK played it the way he felt like that play was going, and it fit perfect for him. Apologize earlier, Houston. I wasn't laughing at you, but, my wife is watching a movie, and it's got her a little bit emotional. It's got her, she's a little bit
Just kick her while she's down.
Yeah. It's a dog movie, and we're a dog family. We're dog lovers. So, I mean, something must have happened to the dog. But again, thank you so much for joining in tonight. We're still talking about Clemson versus Miami, the big domination there. We've talked about offensive player of the game. We talked about defensive player of the game. Got a ton of people in. Sheridan Jones. Davis Allen, De'Aaron Kendrick, Braylon Spector, ETN, Trevor Spike in just in general. One thing that people don't have I got to say this. One thing people don't have on chat is kicking a field goal of 61 yards in the rain right before halftime. Can we just say that after all these years, Dabo has earned a flub up like that? I mean, you can't really be mad at the guy. You really can't be mad at the guy in the sense that he walks off the field so mad at himself. Like you just got to be like, Coach, I'm with you on that, bro. We were all like, so when they lined up, I said to Audrey, I said, this is going to be Alabama Auburn like 2.0. This is going to be, because it just felt like Clemson did not have a fast enough, special teams unit out there. They're going to kick it. BT Potter's not going to make it, which I think all of us kind of thought he wasn't going to make it. 61 yards, I think, was the count. I thought it was going to get recovered, caught, and then returned, kind of like a punt. I did not expect a blocked punt and then a return, scoop, and score. But either way, it was a little bit ridiculous. Unfortunately, though, if you take that away, that makes Miami look even worse, which is kind of bad for the Hurricanes. They are not back, that's for sure. And Clemson has really shown they have the number of the Miami Hurricanes. And you got to be careful if you're a Miami fan. Anytime you play Clemson, you might lose a coach or two. So just got to be careful there. That happens to a couple of teams around the southeastern part of the country. If you get beat up by Clemson a lot, might need some changes going on, but won't say anything there. Won't wish any bad luck on any of those coaches there. But, Al Golden, I believe, is that right? He got destroyed by the Tigers and then just saw his way out and, hung his tie up. But let's go to offensive grade and defensive grade. For me, offense and defense. Offense first, 550 yards, 38 minutes, 23 seconds time of possession. ETN alone did better than the entire Miami Hurricane team as far as total yards. He had 222 yards. They had, I think, 210. So give me an A for the offense. And on defense, really a top 10 matchup. Well, I try to avoid saying a top 10 matchup in a season like this, but it is what it is. 9 total first downs. 9. The national average is 18. 9. Okay. And then 74 yards in the first half. Just complete and utter domination. Great to see the secondary flourish and become more mature and start to play together and start to play even more confident. Great to see a weak side linebacker that can hunt you down, like chat saying, faster than Skalski. I agree. Spector is a unique diamond in the rough. Great pickup from the recruiting class there. Spector's doing awesome. Brazee, Tyler Davis, great job. Even a little bit of sprinkle of XT towards the end, which didn't really understand that at all. Why would you play somebody like that 3 minutes to go? Maybe he just needed to, get his blood flowing before going to bed. I don't know. But give me an A for both the offense and the defense.
Okay, I'll get to you in a minute. But so for now, offense, grade A. Okay, look, you really got to be picking to find some stuff to complain about here. I won't find anything to complain about, but I will say the only reason I didn't give an A+, they had a couple of bad snaps, too many 3rd and longs, which we, had last week, and of course the major drop by Ladson on a great bomb by Trevor Lawrence. Man, that was brutal to watch. Absolutely brutal. But hey, look, other than that, man, it was fantastic. I mean, the Tigers had a great game. I gave them an A. Defensive grade, I gave him an A+. You don't find defensive games better than that. Every level was as solid as can be. I'm not going to go and repeat everything Morgan said because there's no need. Everybody played incredible. Now, I will tell Morgan he's crazy. Of course it was good to get XT in the game. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with XT being in the game? It's good to have him back. He was a starter. He was going to be a starter for us probably. And it's good to get his feet wet and kind of get him back on the field and back used to things. It was perfect to have him there for 3 snaps. I don't know what your problem is, Morgan, but shut it because you don't know what you're talking about. It was a good thing for him to be back in there, and it was good to see him.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm a little, I won't say harsher. I think I give the offense an A-, just because there's a few mistakes. I feel like there was a couple drives we left some points on the field every now and again. I feel like our first and second down play calling was a little still vanilla. But once again, Travis Etienne and Trevor bailed Clemson out on the offensive side of the ball. Defense A+. They dominated. Nobody's talking about Kane Patterson's interception. Our third strings were dominating. I would have loved to seen our third string offense just punch one in there for the proverbial gut punch at the end of the game with 1 second left, just to get them riled up, get Miami riled up for the next time we see them. So I think overall great night. Overall team effort for the Tigers.
It was nice to see the starters out there longer, even in a kind of even up by a couple touchdowns. They were out there. They were still grinding. Good to see them get the kind of the stat sheet up, because we don't need a Matt Corral Heisman Trophy winner, okay? They talked about this in college football final. No, I swear to you, if an Ole Miss player gets a Heisman Trophy over Travis Etienne, I might just lose it. I might just lose it on that show. That previous show, I am going to lose it. Okay? So, no. Don't even put that out there in the atmosphere. Yes, he's racking up a ton of yards. But again, we go back to the Lamar Jackson syndrome. You're racking up a ton of yards and you're losing games. So stop it. Stop it. Okay? That's my rant. But that kind of wraps up Miami Clemson. Let's look in the chat real quick, see if we see anything interesting talking about Miami Clemson. Carson gets in and says that he doesn't understand why Cornell Powell is still starting and still seems like he's, not performing well, and Ngata's not ready to go yet. Maybe Ngata will jump him soon. I'm assuming that would be the case, eventually, that you want your guys to eventually, your younger guys to take over from the older guys, right? I mean, you want them to kind of pass on the torch. Cornell Powell has definitely been there for the team, been consistent, and, I really can't say that's the thing. I really can't say what he's done helpful or hurtful to the team. So at least he's not hurting the team by dropping a bunch of passes when he shouldn't. But I really can't see him, moving the ball further along either, as much as, kind of a starting outside wide receiver would expect in that sense. So I can understand where you're coming from there. Al, what you got anything on your end?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people getting in. Let's see. Al got in and said the wind was behind him. What are the odds of what happened? He was talking to about the field goal, and he's right. Look, make no mistake about it, BT Potter's got the leg to hit a 61-yarder. It was just, at the time, it seemed like the game was over. The game was over. The only thing that could possibly get them back into the game at that point is something like what happened. And that's why I wasn't for that call before it happened. I was hoping they'd just chuck it up in the air, try to make a play. They're not scoring on an interception on a Hail Mary in all likelihood. And heck, in all likelihood, they weren't scoring the way they scored, but it happened. It's crazy. It was just kind of unfortunate. But, yeah, I understand where Al's coming from there for sure. And, got a lot of good comments in here. And, Hart Vaughn's getting in and talking about the athleticism of Booth. It's insane. Told him how special these cornerbacks were. So, and Hart also gets in and says Powell's earned the spot by the time he's put in. He needs to have it or it take, which it will, but he's earned that spot. I truly believe he's done a decent job, but he's not been the guy we expected him to be, no doubt about it. And I fully expect a healthy Ngata to take that position before season's end if he can stay healthy and get healthy.
I agree on that one. I think Cornell Powell's done a decent job. Nice couple catches that he's had in each of these games that we've had thus far. But I think if Dabo keeps saying what he's saying about Joseph Ngata, it's just a matter of time if he stays healthy.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you getting in over on the chat. We'll try to look through again and see. Got some people talking about UNC averaging 9.8 yards per play. Crazy offense running there for sure. So definitely the Tar Heels are a team, really the team to kind of watch out for. We'll see what happens between the Tar Heels and Notre Dame, what Clemson can do between both teams. Clemson, I don't believe, has to play the Tar Heels, so they do have to play Notre Dame. So we'll see kind of that matchup, but maybe it'll be later on in the year that Clemson and North Carolina will match up again. I think it'll be a good kind of rematch battle between the two teams. Both teams definitely have a solid quarterback and a solid running game as well, and some solid leaders on the defensive side of the ball as well. Let me get into kind of our next topic, and that is really the game that's coming up, guys. All right, so I know this was not as flashy as your top 10 matchup, and wanted to talk about it. It's number one, Clemson actually traveling to Georgia Tech, 12 p.m. noon game at Bobby Dodd Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. Clemson, I had them. I wrote down the spread, and now I don't have it. I thought it was 27
27 and a half was the last that I saw on ESPN.
Okay, 27 and a half. And Clemson right now, according to ESPN's Football Power Index, 95.5% chance to win. Trevor Lawrence, 1,140 yards total passing and 10 touchdowns. Travis Etienne, 392 yards, 4 touchdowns. Georgia Tech, Jeff Sims, 944 yards, 5 touchdowns. However, 8 interceptions, which I don't believe he had any interceptions last game, so good job there. You had 2 interceptions every single game leading up into that last game against Louisville, and then you stopped. So, that's an improvement for sure. Georgia Tech coming off a huge home win against Louisville where they were down again. They were down 27-26 with about 4 minutes to go and ended up winning 46-27, scoring 20 points, 20 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Louisville, again, we talked about this earlier, 3 turnovers, this time 3 fumbles. Louisville with more yards, more first downs, a longer time of possession, and still lost. This is like the 5th game this year. I know they haven't played 5 games, but it's probably like the 3rd game this year that's happened to them. Last year, Clemson won 52-14. Now, I'm not very good at math, but I've got a 38-point winner right there, okay? 38 points, 52-14. Now, this offense is completely different, though. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to win, but we're not concerned so much about winning. We're concerned about the spread here on the Morgan Thomas Show. So, with the spread coming into play, is Jeff Sims going to be good for 11 points compared to the last team with Graham and whoever else they had? Basically, it was the quarterback running the entire time, and Clemson just torched them. And Travis Etienne, I believe, had like 300 yards rushing that game as well, too. Clemson, one good thing for Clemson is, we've already talked about it plenty of times, their secondary is getting better, more adjusted, more comfortable, dominating, something that we all predicted would be something that they needed to learn and overcome and grow and adapt and come into their own. They have. The offensive line coming into their own as well. Still got some things to work out, but coming into their own as well. And so Clemson is continuing to get better and better. Clemson's offense has put up about 40 points or more on better defenses than Georgia Tech. Sims is going to get bottled up, and that's going to stop everything for Georgia Tech because Sims, the passing game goes through him, and the rushing game goes through him. Now, we'll get you a further in-depth scouting report on Georgia Tech coming up Friday. I have our social media intern, Dixon Massengill. He comes on Fridays and does a call with me where he gives us his in-depth thoughts on how Georgia Tech can win the game. Now, we know they probably won't win the game, but he's going to at least show us how they could, or how, if he was the coach, if he was Jeff Collins, what would he do? So that'll come up Friday. This is kind of an overview for Clemson, Georgia Tech. But for me, based on the fact that Clemson is still a very dominant team, still performing better against better defenses, and considering that they beat them by 38, I don't see Jeff Sims being accountable for 11 points to kind of bridge that gap. Clemson still can put up 52 again. I'm going to say, give me Tigers to roll again and actually come even on their picks against, or their against the spread numbers. Well, 2-3, I guess. They were 0-3. Now they're 1-3. So give me the Tigers to get another win against the spread and cover against the Yellow Jackets in Atlanta.
So I'm pretty sure, by the way, they covered week 1. I believe is what our friend Marty got on. I think the spread was like 49 or something like that, or 48 or something. They won by that amount. I'm pretty sure whatever spread, because I'm pretty sure Marty was paying very close attention to that game. He can get in and tell us, but I'm fairly confident.
Well, keep in mind our spreads were from Monday, so it might have been.
That's true. That's very true. I don't know what the line went to, but anyways, Look, I kind of agree with you. So we're going to give our spread pick for this game right now. Like you said, Jeff Sims, he's showed some ability to make plays. Okay, running game, passing game, whatever. It looks like a different Georgia Tech team when they take care of the football. Okay, now that's been up and down. There's been times where they really haven't done that. I just don't feel like taking care of the football is a really good thing that's going to happen against Clemson. I just think we're too good on defense. I think we're going to call some turnovers. I see at least 2 turnovers for Georgia Tech coming on Saturday at noon. They were able to capitalize in a big way with those Louisville turnovers. Those turnovers aren't going to be there in all likelihood with Clemson because Clemson takes care of the football. I think we're going to see a lot more of what we saw the first couple games with vanilla play calls offensively and defensively. I think we're going to kind of revert back to that. So it's not like I don't think it's going to be a 60-0 game or anything like that. I would look for some, I've been calling for this a lot. I would look for some more deep shots if Clemson gets a lead to really see if we can get a receiver to take over, especially, of course, if Ngata's back in the fold next week. I think they're going to try to find some way to get these guys involved and find what I like to call, again, the alpha receiver. Okay, we need it, and Clemson is an alpha receiver away from nothing standing in their way for another national championship. Okay, and there may not even be anything standing in the way now. But if you have that receiver that, hey, we need a 50-50 ball, go up and get it. If we find one of those, whether it be Ladson, whether it be Ngata by the end of the year, we're going to be, I think, absolutely unstoppable. Okay, I'm talking a Mike Williams, a DeAndre Hopkins, a T. Higgins, those guys. Okay, that's the kind of guy we need to develop by the end of the year, and there's a chance that we can have that happen. So I just don't see any way they can keep it close enough here. If Clemson goes ultra vanilla and GT's secondary is a little improved. So I think they play physical. I think they try to get after you, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough. I'm taking Clemson to cover.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this game starts out kind of sloppy, slow. Georgia Tech strikes me as the type of team that's going to have a scripted plan in place. They do have a couple of decent playmakers, wide receiver and running back, so I expect them to get the ball to them early. But much like what Alan said, I don't see turnovers happening with Georgia Tech being able to turn Clemson over. I also think that you're going to have a ton of pressure on Sims. He's going to turn the ball over, both fumbling and throwing interceptions to an absolutely stunning secondary that Clemson has. So I think that there's going to be a ton of turnovers. And really, I agree everything with what Alan said. In this game is just it's one of those that as a Clemson fan, and I'll write about this more on Thursday and Friday this week, you gotta still get up for Georgia Tech. As much pain as you've been through in the early 2000s, I've got plenty of stories, everything from roommate infighting over this game to everything. I'm a lot of bad memories with Georgia Tech. So I'm picking Clemson to cover, and 2, I want them to cover. I want them to stick it to Georgia Tech.
Houston, your screen is like frozen up on us. You're not frozen up when I'm looking at you live, but for whatever reason, the fans can't see you moving. So you're just audio right now. But you got kind of a little bit of a smile going, a little smirk.
You do. It looks great.
He looks. This could be the Houston meme. So Houston, you can literally do whatever you want right now, and just enjoy it. Nobody will be able to see it.
I don't know about that.
But hey, what a perfect freeze frame because you're right there. And I'll work on it in the background. But anyway, so again, I think that Clemson, it's exciting to see another Clemson game coming up back to back. I don't like when we have these bye weeks. I don't like going to have 2 bye weeks in a year. I don't like any of that. I really want to see as much Clemson Tiger football as I can. So I'm looking forward to this week. We got a ton of ACC games coming up, a ton of really good games, and then specifically capped off by Georgia Bulldogs traveling to the Alabama Crimson Tide to play number 3 versus number 2 and get to see a matchup of the top SEC teams this season early on. So we'll let you know what our picks against the spread are coming up. That's what's next on the agenda. But Al, before we get into it, let's tell people about our sponsor, Heating and Cooling Services, actually come back. They came back, and now they are a sponsor for season number 2. We really appreciate it, Jason and Mark over there. But tell them a little bit about Heating and Cooling Services.
Yes, could not stand it being away. So Heating Cooling Services, Inc., family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating Cooling Services, Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance of your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller or anything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer, give Heating Cooling Services, Inc. a call. You want to get in touch with Mark or Jason Trammell, their number is 864-224-7655. Again, that phone number is 864-224-7655. Listen, I've told you this before. They worked on my air conditioning, and it's worked for 2 years since they touched it. I used to have problems with it every single year, and it was expensive every time. They saved me a ton of money. They did a great job. I really appreciate it. They will do you right, and tell them Allen, Morgan, and Houston sent you.
We really appreciate them being a sponsor for us as well. And then we also have a new sponsor starting this season, and that is Daniel Weber, State Farm Insurance, 518 College Avenue, Suite 190, Clemson, South Carolina. Give them a call, 722-9083, insuringclemson.com. For all your insurance needs, call Daniel Weber State Farm. Their team is located in the heart of Clemson, South Carolina, and it is their goal to protect, educate, serve their customers and community. They specialize in auto and home insurance as well as life insurance and health insurance. Their goal is to help protect your family and your finances. Give them a call, 864-722-9083. Here's a recent 5-star Google review from them. The staff at the Daniel Weber office are so kind, thoughtful, and knowledgeable to my insurance needs. The office is quaint and appeasing, so when I go in and need to stop in, it's always a treat. So really appreciate them, sponsoring our show. And see if we can get Houston back as we come back in. Houston, are you there? Can you hear us? We can't.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear Houston. All right. Now I thought we completely lost Houston there.
Nope.
But he's still there. He's just frozen. He just has that nice little smirk, nice little grimace. I don't know. It's kind of a half smile. It's not a grimace. It's a half smile. It's kind of like meh, But we really appreciate it. We'll see how many fans can make whoever makes the best meme gets a free sticker of Houston. All right, so let's go again. Let's go with our picks against the spread. Let's start with the ACC, and we'll do Pittsburgh at number 13, Miami, the team that Clemson just played. Miami coming out minus 10.5. For me, Miami being a favorite in this game, I think Tim Beret just came out with something that said that don't really go for teams after they play Clemson because they have to give their all against Clemson. I think it was David Hood, actually, not Tim Beret. But I think teams after playing Clemson are like 8-35. Yeah. And that's straight up, not against the spread. So Pittsburgh is a team that can play people tough. They're not a team that can blow people out. Pittsburgh's got a great defense. Miami's coming off a tough battle in which they couldn't get anything going. Give me Pitt plus the 10.5 to take it. Pitt lost the last two games by 1 point, BC and North Carolina State. So give me Pitt over, with the points.
Yeah, Pitt is definitely underwhelmed, as they tend to do over the course of the season. They've hurt me in Houston, I think, a couple of times this year already. But the fact of the matter is, like Morgan said, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you stole it right from me. It's the Clemson hangover, ladies and gentlemen. They played Clemson. They got outdueled. Miami just got completely outclassed. And not only that, they got 2 guys suspended for the first half out of targeting penalties, 2 starters on defense. So I'm taking Pitt with the points as well.
I hate Pitt so much. I hate Pitt. And I just, every time that I've picked Pitt, they've lost. Every time that I haven't picked Pitt, they've won. So either way, this is just going to be terrible. I'm going to go with everybody else and say Pitt on this pick. Here.
We have somehow, in my button pushing, have somehow frozen. I have somehow frozen Houston and Allen in this case. This is great. This is great. You know what? We're rolling with it. Next game is Liberty -3.5 at Syracuse. Now, I have to take Liberty in this case because I'm actually a Liberty student. I'm getting my master's degree, my second master's degree. Don't call me crazy. But yes, I'm getting graphic design degree from Liberty Online. So go Liberty, the Flames. Yeah, go Flames, I guess. Go Flames. So I've also... Liberty Mutual. I also picked Syracuse as a home dog last week, and they didn't do me well. So give me Liberty this time. Syracuse, get out of here. Don't need to see you anymore. Liberty to cover the -3.5. Okay. All right. You know what? I probably should stop just staring at you guys frozen and take down the results here. But we all hammered home on Liberty in this case. So let me put that down here. That is a hammer home winner for Liberty. And then we also, I believe, had a hammer home winner at Pittsburgh as well. So that's 2 back-to-back. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. But that's 2 back-to-back. Now, last week, we did a lot of the same picks, and we ended up being pretty even, 6-6, 5-7. So hopefully we know what we're talking about this week. And Bill keeps picking on us about, our record, but I actually have a winning record against the spread. So, don't come at me with that, Bill. Next game up is Louisville at number 4, Notre Dame. Notre Dame -16. Notre Dame couldn't cover against Florida State, although they had slowed down, I believe, after halftime. Louisville has shown that if you have any hint of offense, it's going to be a lot of points for you. So 21, Florida State was harder for them at home. Again, another game at home, but 16, I'm feeling a little bit better in this case, especially since Louisville just gave 20 in 3 minutes. So Notre Dame, come on, you can get 20 in the last 3 minutes. It doesn't matter. So give me Notre Dame to cover the spread -16. All right, so now can't hear Houston and Allen. Can't hear Houston and Allen. No idea. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break because we got to get this through. Let me back out of Skype, bring it back up. Let's see if that fixes it. Because, it's not just my show. It's these guys' show too. So we'll see. So bear with me as we get it going. Let me see if I can pull Skype up again. Thank you so much, AJS, for getting in on the chat and letting me know that you're the only one that can hear me, or you guys can only hear me and not everybody else. So let me see if I can get back in and get these guys up. So just bear with me. Watch the Atlanta Braves game as we try to get this going real quick. Let me know what the score is for the Atlanta Braves. I'm looking forward to seeing if the Braves can beat the Dodgers, even though a lot of people say that's not possible. But we'll see. So let me know what the score for the Braves-Dodgers game is. And we really appreciate it. Alan.
Yeah.
Alan's audio's back in. Look at it was Skype. It was Skype. It was Skype the whole time. Give me a second. The guys are coming back in. The guys are populating. Look at them. Look at them there. All right, Al, can you say something for the lovely fans out there?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Alan here. Big Al.
I got audio coming for Al. I got audio coming for Houston. Houston, say something.
Hello.
All right, Houston's got.
Hello to my friend Daniel. My friend Daniel.
Houston's got audio. Daniel, thank you so much for the help. We actually now have video, gentlemen. We have video. So let's go back. I don't know if anybody got any of the spread picks. So let's go back through a real quick, brief overview. And you correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. But Pittsburgh at number 13, Miami, minus 10.5. Pittsburgh, we all picked. Morgan, Allen, Houston, hammered home. Pittsburgh, plus 10.5. So take that one. We all believe that Miami is going to come off a low after losing to Clemson. Teams are not normally going to do good the week after playing Clemson. So give us Pittsburgh. Next one, Liberty minus 3.5 at Syracuse. Take Liberty
plus 3.5.
Liberty minus 3.5. Syracuse is a home dog, right?
Oh, wow, that line has changed big time. Okay, because I looked at it this morning. There were Syracuse is minus 3.
So Syracuse is now.
Yeah, they were. No, you've got it later than I have. This was early morning when I saw it.
Oh, Al,
I saw it when Liberty was favored. I think Liberty was favored the last time I saw it.
3.5 still?
I've got 3.5 on oddshark.com. That's where I'm getting mine. So 3.5. Liberty is the favorite. So Syracuse is the home dog in that game. We all picked Liberty to cover the spread and not take Syracuse. Is that correct? Because last week Syracuse was the home dog and gave Chase Bryce the win. His first win in a Duke uniform. And so I don't trust Syracuse. I think they're one of the worst teams in the ACC. They already let Duke beat them at home. They don't even have any advantage at the Carrier Dome, so let's move on. Next one, Louisville at number 4, Notre Dame, minus 16. I think we all hammered home there too. So we've got all hammer homes on the game so far. We believe that Louisville can do everything possible to screw up a game, and they only need about 3 minutes to give up 20 points. The spread is 16, so even with 3 minutes left, we still have a chance to cover the spread because they'll give it up. So take Louisville there. We hammered that home. The next one up, this is the one where we're continuing on. This is where we'll pick up, guys. We'll do the round table from here. Duke at North Carolina State, minus 4.5. Are you kidding me with this? North Carolina State has done me right all year. I got to keep going with the Wolfpack. Give me the minus 4.5 to cover. I think they're better than Duke. Let's ride them until they give us a reason. Otherwise, Duke just lost to Virginia by, 18? They lost to Virginia. No, not just lost, but they lost to Virginia by 18. And NC State beat Virginia by 17. So go ahead, give me NC State.
Well, and you said the line was minus 4?
4.5.
Yeah, I just, this is another one of those lines that smell kind of fishy to me. And I've hit both of these so far that I thought the line was way too low or way too high. I think NC State should be favored by a good bit more than that. I'm taking NC State minus 4.5.
Agreed. I'm going to take NC State on this one. I think this is going to be a 2-score game.
So we're hammering home that one again as well. Hammer home. We got a bunch back to back here that we're all looking forward to. Now, like I said, this could be good. This could be bad. It all depends. We could all be completely clowns after this weekend. But, I think the plan is they're just going to pick the teams that I pick because they don't want to fall any further back from me. I think that's what the guys are doing. So, I have the winning record currently, or better winning percentage than the other guys. So I think this is their plan. But Allen does go out on a limb every once in a while, and he won with his lone wolf last week. So we'll see what happens. Next one up, Virginia minus 3 at Wake Forest. Now this one is a home dog. We were 1-1 against the home dogs last week. To me, Wake Forest hasn't played in a while. I think they hadn't played in 2 weeks maybe. Give me Wake Forest plus the points. They have a good offense. They can hang. They've played 2 really good teams in the ACC, so their stat line as far as total defensive yards given up is not really that accurate because they've played two good teams. So when the last team they beat up was Campbell and the Fighting Camels, but give me the +3 at home.
Actually, I'm going to go against conventional wisdom here, and I'm going to go Virginia. I actually think Wake Forest is the smarter pick here, but I'm going to take Virginia. I'm going to take the team that we saw play Clemson and saw play decently against Clemson for a little while and say that they pull one out over here by about 4 or more against Wake. So be a little different, maybe get a lone wolf here, see what happens, see if I can gain a game on you or something. I'll take UVA.
Normally I would agree with Alan on this one, but I don't know what the health of Brennan Armstrong is going to be. I think Wake Forest has actually played very well since playing Clemson. I would have been interested to see what would have happened with them in Notre Dame, but I do think that Wake Forest is going to win this game. It's going to be close, and if Brennan Armstrong isn't healthy for Virginia, that's going to be the main reason why.
All right, so Al, that makes you our first lone wolf of the night. So he's going on by himself for Virginia. I don't know how I feel about that, Al. I don't know if you're right on that one, but we will see. We will see. Number 5, Tar Heels, -13.5 at Florida State. I mean, come on. Who can't beat Florida State? Is this the steal of the week, or was the NC State game the steal of the week? I don't really know. I think they're both ones that we will get a win out of. UNC, with their running game, with the chat was talking about their defense, with their passing game working well. UNC letting Florida State stay within 13? No way. I would be shocked. North Carolina right now is putting up 506 yards per game on offense. Give me North Carolina to cover the spread.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Florida State, I don't want to say Florida State has found something like they're all of a sudden world beaters or anything, but they did find a little offense against Notre Dame. So I could understand if you wanted to take FSU as the home team here, but yeah, UNC has found its stride on offense, and I think you got to take UNC. They're a dangerous team when it comes to scoring a lot of points. So I think you got to go with the Tar Heels here.
Yep, blowout city. I'm taking UNC.
All right, so we've got another hammer home, all three of us picking UNC there. And then chat is also saying over on Facebook, Al, that Brennan Armstrong might be in concussion protocol.
Well, that's what I asked. I asked him if he was confirmed out, and they said they didn't know, because obviously that would make me rethink everything if he was out for the game. So I'm reserving the right to change this pick here before the show goes out if we find anything out.
All right,
sure.
Coleman, you got to get in there and tell us what you got. You got to start searching this because we're on live right now. We can't take a break. We got to keep rolling.
Call all your contacts in Virginia.
Yeah, call everyone in Virginia and tell us what's going on there. By the way, even if he is out, all they need to do is throw in another fullback because that's basically what he is. Boston College at number 23, Virginia Tech. This is one that I would normally say, give me Virginia Tech big time. I assume that Boston College was in a rebuilding year, but they've been keeping people close, and not only keeping people close, but also winning games. And Virginia Tech did put up a ton of points against the Tar Heels as well, but never really, I felt like, was in it. And they don't really know what they're doing with their quarterback. They kind of keep going back and forth between Burmeister and Hendon Hooker. They don't really know what the idea is. And again, you don't know how many players are going to play or not. I just don't know much still about Virginia Tech. We do know one thing about Virginia Tech. Khalil Herbert is going to destroy the field. I mean, he can run the ball big time, the transfer from Kansas. But with as good as Boston College is playing on defense, and with the fact that they're beating teams better than them, and Walt Deptula told me that watch out for Boston College because they could be the surprise team of the year, and they look like being that team. Because I don't think NC State's really the surprise team of the year, because in the ACC, I always said that North Carolina State, the Wolfpack, typically wins 9 games. And so they were going to rebound. Last year was kind of an anomaly year. So I felt like I had a good feeling that the Wolfpack would rebound. I did not have a good feeling that Boston College would kind of jump the way they have been and start out higher than they have been. So give me Boston College. I know it's an away game, fellas. I know, but it's COVID time. Home games aren't the same as they used to be. Give me +11 for Boston College.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is you just don't know who Virginia Tech's going to have from week to week and how many is going to be out starter-wise and anything like that. BC's been the surprise team so far. I'm taking BC as well.
I will also take BC. I feel like eventually the COVID kind of like the carousel, the COVID carousel is what we'll call it. The COVID carousel is eventually going to get caught up with Virginia Tech. Boston College seems to have a little bit more as far as depth. You can say that. I think they also have a little bit more of an identity than Virginia Tech does right now on both sides of the ball. I'm taking Boston College.
All right, so we're basically hammered home every single game except for Virginia at Wake Forest, and that is TBD till the end of the show. Alan has gone ahead and put that clause in, which I didn't know we had the clause, but considering his name's on the show, we'll allow it. Let's go to our best of the week. 5 games that Alan picked. Alan, you start us off down the list with just kind of start us off with your pick, and we'll go around. This time I'm going second. I'm not going to let Houston cheat from you. This time I'll go second after Al. So you start with, I guess, the BYU game, I guess.
Yeah, so I went BYU Houston here. I haven't got to see a lot of these teams play. I know BYU started out the year and they hammered Navy. It was Navy, right? Is that who they played first? I can't remember. We were on air when that game was going on, and we kept getting score updates. So they looked really good in that game. Houston's looked good at times as well. I'm taking Houston as the home team.
Houston does look good, but not Houston, the football team. Houston with his new Tiger Sports Shop gear down at the bottom on the screen. That is what looks good. I think BYU definitely looked good at the beginning of the year. You know, they only won by 7 points against San Antonio when they were a 35-point favorite. And I believe, I don't know if you told me the spread, but I got it down as -3. So I'm going to take -3, give me BYU to cover, and chalk up last week as just looking ahead against an inferior opponent.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, Alan, but I'm agreeing with Morgan on this one. I'm going to take BYU. Up until last week, they've been putting up similar offensive numbers, albeit against inferior opponents, as Clemson was, as far as their offensive output and with their point differential and the way they've been beating opponents. I think that was a blip in the road. UTSA has a very stingy defense. I think they were looking ahead to Houston. Give me BYU plus the points.
All right. So first of all, Morgan, you don't need to give me the spreads. Okay, since obviously my spreads have changed.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, since the Morgan. So give me the spreads. But, I'm looking here online. I'm trying to find some stuff about Brennan Armstrong. It says he's day-to-day. Could play, could not. How about this? I'll take UVA either way.
Oh, all right.
We'll
lock it in.
Lock it in as a lone wolf pick.
Drama.
Well, you got 2 lone wolves now. Another 2 lone wolf week for you, Al, because you got Houston as well.
So what do you think about Cincinnati Tulsa? What's the line there?
I've got -3 Cincinnati. And my spreads are as of about 5:30 because I did it right after work.
All right, Cincinnati -3. So Tulsa +3. I had it at 4.5, and I took Tulsa when I picked it. So at +3, I think Tulsa can score. Cincinnati has been pretty good, not quite as impressive as I think their ranking might suggest. I'm going to take Tulsa plus the points here.
Is that me?
Somebody was asking UNC Florida State. Yeah, James, we did talk about UNC Florida State. We all hammered home UNC on that one. The next one you said Cincinnati, number 8 Cincinnati at Tulsa. So Tulsa just knocked off number 11 UCF and snapped their 21-game home win streak. But they were down as much as 18 in the second quarter. So it was a big comeback. UCF actually, their defense has given up 450 yards per game compared to Cincinnati, who has a better defense, only giving up 300 yards per game, which is more along the national average in college football. Better defense, better game. I know it's a road game, but I think Cincinnati is better, and they're becoming better than UCF, better than Memphis. So give me Cincinnati to cover -3 traveling to Tulsa.
I'm going to take Cincinnati as well. I think they have a very stingy defense. They showed that against Army this year. I think Cincinnati is the best team right now in the AAC. Give me Cincinnati.
All right, Kentucky, Tennessee, what you got for the spread there?
I've got Kentucky, Tennessee. I did not write it down. That might be good, Morg, if you would write down the spread. Kentucky, Tennessee -6 right now.
Okay, that's what I have as well. So I really feel like this is going to be my fourth lone wolf pick. I really do. Tennessee usually plays relatively well against Kentucky. Kentucky, I like to bet on Kentucky as an underdog. It usually goes well for me, except for, when they played Auburn earlier this season. And they had opportunities in that game. They just kind of flushed them down the toilet. There was some turnovers there and some weird ones at that. But I don't know. I feel like Tennessee is going to be able to stop them a little bit, because Kentucky's a running team. I feel like Tennessee has a pretty good defensive line and linebackers. It's their secondary that concerns me, but I don't think Kentucky can exploit it well enough. So I'm going to take Tennessee -6 to cover at home.
Okay. I'm actually, I don't know much about either one of these teams other than just seeing kind of the glimpses of Tennessee playing Georgia, and then they got throttled towards the end of the game. I don't know how fourth quarter of a team they are. And so I'm actually going to take the traveling points on this case, and I'm going to give me +6 to Kentucky.
I'm going to go with Allen on this one, Tennessee and the points. I think Tennessee's the third best team in the SEC. Jerry Garantano has actually been improved. They didn't have a bad game up until the fourth quarter in which, everything just fell apart for them. The wheels fell off, and Georgia ended up obliterating them. That's just because Georgia is just further ahead than them. Give me Tennessee.
And that was my lone wolf pick of the night. So I'm going with Kentucky and the Wildcats as a lone wolf. We'll see how it works out. But next one up is UCF -3 at Memphis.
All right. Sorry, responding to a comment. So, all right, UCF at Memphis, and what did you say the line was?
-3 for UCF.
UCF is -3. So I'm taking UCF here. I usually ride UCF. I'd like to take Central Florida a lot of the times. Memphis can score. We all know that. But I haven't been as impressed with Memphis as I thought I was going to be this year. UCF did just get beat and kind of shocked the world there, but I'm going to take the Central Florida team as well. I ride them all the time, and they seem to do well for me, so I'm going to take them here.
Marlon Williams will have a great game. Give me UCF -3 against that bad Memphis defense.
Both of these teams are unimpressive, but UCF is the one coming off the loss. Give me UCF in the points.
Final game of the night, number 3, UGA, Georgia, the Bulldogs, traveling to number 2, Alabama and the Crimson Tide, Dabo Swinney's alma mater. Preseason, I picked Georgia for this game. The problem is that Alabama, even though they give up 50, can score 100. So, Al, what do you got?
I think I had a line at 6.5.
I've got it actually right now at -5. Let me triple check here and get you the most recent. Get you guys the most recent stat here. I got it still -6.
-6. Alabama's -6. So, okay. Look, here's the thing. Alabama's defense is not an Alabama defense this year. They have not been good. Matter of fact, they've been downright bad. We were talking earlier about Saban getting it fixed. I don't know that he can fix it right now. I don't know that they're in a position to fix it. Georgia is not some, imposing offense that's going to, strike fear in anyone's hearts. But their defense is maybe the best in the country, and I think they're going to be able to keep their team in any game this year because I think they have that much talent. They got a lot of speed, a lot of aggressiveness on defense. I may like Georgia to win this game outright, so I'm going to take Georgia with the points.
And
you know how much that pains me.
I originally looked back at some of my notes from one of our shows months ago and predicted Alabama to lose to Georgia in this game and be a one-loss team, and Georgia to be undefeated. But I've got to change that mind. I got to change my mind because here's the thing. Again, like I said before, I kind of alluded to my decision. Alabama can give up 50 and score 100. If you're going to tell me, can Alabama also, don't forget, at home and not against a guy who has been on, well, he has been on staff, but not against a guy who's shown that he can, win the big game yet, especially against Alabama. So until Georgia can prove to me they can get over the hump and not be a perennial disappointment, I got to take Alabama, especially at home. Again, this is not a situation where Georgia gets to take advantage of Athens and the non-COVID rules they have there where they just let literally everyone in the stadium. So give me Alabama to it. I mean, I think Alabama's going to score a touchdown more than these guys. The thing is, the factor for me is Mac Jones. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Mac Jones and Jalen Waddle are the huge factor for me. So give me Alabama and those two guys to shine.
Up until this point, I was considering going with Alabama. I felt like everybody was going to go with Alabama. I wasn't going to pick against them. But I once Alan said it, I feel like I have got to say this too. This Georgia defense is better than anyone that Alabama has faced yet. Mac Jones has been throwing against air for the last 3 weeks. All right. This is going to be the first test. We're really going to talk about Mac Jones for Heisman because he might earn it if he throws like he has. But I don't see that happening. I think he's going to have a very down game. It's going to be put on Najee Harris. I know they're going to try to take Najee Harris away and make Mac Jones beat you trying to throw it downfield. And that's going to be kind of tough considering Georgia's actually got a really good secondary. And if you can't defend the wide receivers of Ole Miss, how are you going to defend George Pickens? How are you going to defend Demetrius Robertson and Trey McKitty and the stall of running backs that Georgia has, even though they've got a high schooler playing quarterback named Stetson Bennett the fourth, whatever his name is? I just have a feeling Georgia's going to win this game. I think Georgia's gonna pull the stunner. And plus, the one thing that Morgan, I know that you said until they do it, who's the one team consistently outside of Clemson to be a thorn in the side and just nearly needing to get over that hump, minus dumb coaching decisions? That's Georgia. Kirby Smart doesn't Kirby Smart this game away. Georgia wins.
Dumb decisions by coaches can last a lifetime. Let's just put it that way. And can ruin your SEC championship games as well. My thing is, I was on top of my couch jumping up and down for that SEC championship game when Georgia came out and just seemed like they were going to destroy Alabama, and then they let me down. And so can't forgive them for that. A lot of other things I can't forgive them about. Alan will tell you about later with their history between Clemson and Georgia. But again, that is our picks against the spread. James, I'm sorry, man. You got a ton of questions about the games. I will make sure to get the highlights out there. So go check out our YouTube or Facebook. If you missed any of our picks, we just don't have enough time to go back through them again. But I'm telling you, you'll be, we agreed on a lot of things. So that could be good or bad. It just depends. But we got our top ACC games, or all of our ACC games, and then our top games of the week we just went through. We hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have a safe, COVID-free week and stay healthy and stay safe out there. And then also we hope you enjoy this weekend coming up. Some big games for the ACC and for college football in general. We're looking forward to it. Getting closer and closer to the Big Ten joining the party finally. And so we'll see what we'll have to kind of introduce them into our picks against the spread and our talk. But hey, on the chat, before we let you go, Al, you got anything over there on Facebook?
Let's see. We got a bunch of people hating on Kirby Smart and talking about his decisions are going to blow the game. Billy Sigmund and Bill Lanham are both getting in with that kind of stuff, which is very typical. And hey, I don't necessarily disagree. It usually happens. I'm taking Georgia with the points here. I still hope they lose, but I just hope it's by 3 or 4.
Well, let me tell you something. And so, James, again, don't worry about it, man. We'll have the replay up. We'll have the replay up for you. So go check it out over on our page. So you don't if you miss it, no worries. But last year, I was on the Mark Childress show Saturday morning, and I said, give me Georgia or LSU. I think those two teams were good last year. We're going to do well. Paul from Honoree came in and just blasted me for saying anything good about Georgia because they always disappoint. And so there might be some chance that they get over the hump. But the record shows and history shows that it might be harder than it looks for Kirby Smart to get out of his own way. We'll see. We'll see. But we know that former coaches and assistants for Nick Saban don't do so well against Nick Saban. And again, do not forget, gentlemen, do not forget It is in Tuscaloosa. All right. This is not an Athens game. All right. So before we let you go, if you have anything else, get into the chat, message us on Facebook, shout us out on Twitter at the Morgan Thomas or at the Morgan T Show, and then go check us out over on southlandclub.com. But what is the score for the Atlanta Braves game right now? What you guys got?
It is 1-1, but the Braves have first and second with no outs.
Top 6.
Yep.
Not
top
only
of
do I
6.
have my Braves tumbler, but I also have my little tomahawk, my little mini tomahawk. This is what's on my desk here. Not only is it on my desk, but I also have a little bobblehead Baby Yoda there, just for good measure, because I'm a Star Wars nerd there. But again, thank you so much for joining in with the show. We really appreciate all of our sponsors for joining us and being a part of our show. We'll see you again Monday nights, every Monday night, 8:30 p.m., Facebook, YouTube. And as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you at the top of the hill.